Hey folks, thanks for stopping by. This week I'm going to be doing a shell resin inlay in a bowl rim. Stick around, we'll get started. A few days ago I stopped by my local Michael's. It's a hobby store, and walked around a bit and eventually I found a section in the store where they had a bunch of shells and shell-like materials and things like that. And I ran across a couple of things here that I thought might be interesting to do resin experiments with. So I'm probably not going to mess with the sand or the shells today, but I probably have some fun with the broken bits of shell, either the dyed or the plain. And I did a little experiment, and unfortunately the dyed ones, when you put them in resin, the dye tends to want to come out a little bit, so I end up with a little colored cloud around the shell bits. So I'm probably going to use this one, the uncolored, just decorative shell fragments. What I plan to do is make a bowl with a wide rim and make a recess, super glue the pieces of shell in like a mosaic pattern, and then once that's had a chance to dry, put a layer of epoxy over top of it. So let me go ahead and get the blank ready and on the lathe, and I'll quickly run through turning the bowl. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the bowl turning because it's not really about the bowl, it's about the resin and the shell bits. So let me get going. Okay, I took the bowl and blew it off with an air hose to get any dust out of the pores as much as I could when I got it off the lathe. So I think we're about ready to go. What I plan to do is to kind of create I've got a trough, so I'm going to fill it with this shell material and then pour resin on top of it to kind of fill it up to where it's close to the very top of the bowl. Pop it in the pressure pot, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like when it's finished. And I'm going to leave it a bit proud so that I can mount it back on the lathe and sand and polish the resin and the wood at the very top of it. So let me go ahead and put in the shells, and then we'll mix up some resin and see what it looks like. Let me just see if I can. It's going to be a little messy, but. Okay, not gonna touch it. Now, let me mix up some resin and pour it in here. I think I took some rice and measured the channel, and it was about 100 milliliters as far as volume. So I'm probably just going to do is I'll do 100 milliliters of resin. I know that that's going to be more than I need, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. So let me see here. All right, let's see if I can pour this without displacing too much of the shell material. All right, I think that is good. Now, let me see if I can get it in the pressure pot without spilling it. Dislodging anything. Okay. And, all right. I'm going to pop this under pressure and you'll see what it looks like in a couple hours.
The next day.
All right, let's see what it looks like. I think that's pretty good. Get a better look at it. Got a few places where it's a little low. I think it sank into the wood just a little bit, and or high over here, so it may not have been, pot may not have been sitting level. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. Now, this stuff needs a couple more days to completely cure, so what I'm probably going to do is just chuck it back up on the lathe at that point and go ahead and put some finish on it. I'm going to round over this corner and this corner. That's interesting, I think it even soaked through the end grain of the wood. Huh. But yeah, I'll round over this corner, round over this corner, round over this one slightly so that it's in there nicely. But I'm, like I said, I'm going to wait a couple days to do that. So for now, it's done. And I appreciate you sticking with me. I'll be putting out another one next week or so. So if you want to hang along, go ahead and hit subscribe. Let me know what you think about this one. Drop me a comment or give me a thumbs up. As you saw from the pile of stuff from Michael's, I've got a few more things to play with. I thought about doing a lidded box with an insert like this, and I may still do that with the colored ones. Treat it more as a mosaic and use some grout maybe. But yeah, it was interesting. I'll throw up some better pictures at the end. I know it's a little hard to see all the detail. But good news is there don't appear to be any bubbles. So, oh well. I'll see you next week. Take care.